Hey everybody, this is Tamlin Hislop from the Happiness Consultancy, bringing you the Happiness Show, which is all about passion, purpose, and creating happiness in your life and in the lives of others. And I'm really excited today to be hosting Mutsa Samuel, critical thought leader and motivational speaker here in Zimbabwe and around the world. So this is a real privilege for me to be hosting you today. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
So the first time that I met Mutsa was a couple of weeks ago. I met him through friends, and what really struck me about Mutsa was his passion for what he does. He was so certain about the path that he was on and the area that he works in, and he was so passionate about it, and that really resonated with me because, as you know, passion, purpose, and happiness is something very close to my heart.
Right.
So I'm very intrigued and interested to hear your story, Mutsa. So how you came to be where you are today, how you came to find your passion.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And ditto, I also kind of felt your passion as well, by the way. I think it's important to mention it was both ways. How did I end up where I am? So I believe that my passion started when I was in high school. And what it was a passion to communicate with people, but more so than just on a surface level. I always realized that there was something more than just what we saw, what we felt, what we touched, just beyond our five senses. And there were many ways where I tried to look for that. So I happened to go to a Jesuit school, so I guess the easiest thing was to find it in religion and spirituality. Fast forward a few years, I went to the United States for my undergraduate, where I did a pre-medicine human biology, with minors in psychology and sociology. And being in a liberal arts education, it allowed you to not just study your major, but also different things. So I did things like art, and that's how I also found my minors, like psychology and sociology.
Nice, you had influences
I
from
did,
lots of different things, which is incredible. Yeah.
Exactly. And I really took advantage of my university experience. I went to 2 universities while I was in the States. I played sports, I interacted in different clubs, and I made sure that I made my vision known to the world. America is a place which will try to define you. And I realized that everyone was telling me who I was. Oh no, you're not African. Africans are tall and dark. Or no, you're from Chicago. You don't speak like an African. So everyone was defining me, and I realized that I needed to define myself. And it's just like, no, that's not who I am. So on that journey of finding out and discovering who I was, I dabbled in different things to kind of figure out. And I think that's where.
Sorry, how did you know that you weren't what they were defining you as?
Well, because I tried to be that, and it was uncomfortable.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So this is a good point. Yeah. So you know when you're being authentic, when you're being you, when you feel on purpose, it's a feeling inside.
It is. It really is. And so when you try to assimilate into a culture, and I think that happens naturally anywhere you go, and just feels uncomfortable. And so I'm not one that tries to force things. It felt uncomfortable. I took it out until I found something that was comfortable, that I could say, this is me.
Awesome.
Almost trial and error.
Yes.
But one of the things that I did dabble in the States was poetry. So
wow.
I started writing slam poetry and found out I was pretty good at it. Won some competitions.
Jeez.
And I paid some of my university through winning those competitions.
Really? Yeah. Wow. So you'll have to share one of your poems.
Well, I could. Yeah. If you pay me. Yeah.
Yeah. How much?
So through that I realized that I liked the connection when I was up on stage and speaking with people. And
can I say something there?
Please.
Sorry, again, that's a key point there. I liked the connection when I was up on stage connecting with people. So that's a sign you're living on purpose with doing your passion. You like the feeling.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I decided to take it a step further because I'm an avid reader. I love to read. It's been instilled in me since I was young. And it just so happened my roommate was the same way. So we started reading a whole bunch of books on different things and issues that were affecting people in the United States, primarily due to socioeconomic status, race, religion, all of those things. And we decided to, hey, you know what, we're both poets, why don't we try this speaking thing? So we set up a company. This was in my third year of university.
Wow.
Called Anchor Presentations. And we went out and we spoke on issues of diversity. And you know,
Incredible.
we spoke at high schools, colleges, universities. We were invited to conferences. Yeah, we did pretty well. And that was, I think, the point when I said, I like this. I'm going to continue it.
So how did you feel when you on that stage? Like, I know you mentioned that I liked it, but like when you were standing up there presenting these issues on, you know, race and diversity, and like how did that make you feel when you?
It's hard to describe because I think words would almost limit it. You know, it's. I think we've all had that feeling, and we have that feeling when we were a kid, when we first took our few steps and we realized, well, what is this thing we're doing? We're walking now. Or when we first learned to ride a bike, or learn to swim, or pass a test, or get our first kiss. It's that thing that's just like, what is that? You know, and I can't describe it.
But I think that's because it's indescribable. It's like it's your passion.
Yeah,
so
it is. Yeah.
I think I often describe it as like my heart beats differently when I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Yeah. And you get that nervousness and anxiety before you go on stage.
Yes.
You know, but you own it.
Which is natural.
Yeah.
Which is natural. I get it still all the time, whereas a lot of people think they get nervous and anxiety. It's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
But good, you embrace it.
You embrace it, own it, and convert it into whatever that thing is, that medium is. Yeah.
Okay, great. So wonderful journey. Okay, and what really stood out for me is that you're an avid learner and reader, and you really feed your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's very that's key. How I guess you went about finding your passion. You put yourself in a position where you could feed your mind, and you tried lots of different things. You were curious.
I was curious. And in fact, actually, after we did our seminars, I had to leave the United States because that was when I was still wanting to become a medical doctor. And but it was expensive for foreign students, and they weren't providing any loans. So I came back to Zim for a gap year, and I decided to either go into doing entrepreneurship at University of Cape Town, or to continue my medicine, where I would have started as a third-year med student in Wits University. And I guess another key point in this journey is choice and deciding. I had a choice to either stick with what I was doing or do something completely different. And I said, you know what? Something's calling me to this entrepreneurship, and I just went for that. And I just took a leap of faith and said, you know what? I'm following the same feeling that I've been feeling, you know. And I went and I did it. So I did a 1-year postgrad course in entrepreneurial strategy. I worked as a management consultant for 2.5 years. But all during that time, I was still speaking on the side. It just couldn't get away from me. And then I changed my topic when I moved back to Africa from diversity to leadership.
Nice.
I realized that there was a lack of all-encompassing leadership in Africa, you know, and nothing was being transferred.
Yeah.
And it wasn't holistic. So I said, you know what, there's a gap here, and there's young people that need, you know, people with integrity, you know, to guide them, you know, and I also need that as well. So I also went looking for it. I found mentors when I was in South Africa, and they guided me as well, and started doing seminars there, and then moved back to Zimbabwe 5 years ago and continued.
Oh, incredible. What an amazing story.
Yeah.
And I also think it's key to mention that often on the journey to find our passion and our purpose, there's obstacles, there's roadblocks, there's things that come up, there's choices and decisions that we have to make. And I think a key point is that we are in control of how we respond and how we react and what kind of decisions we make. And we learn a lot of lessons along the way.
Right.
So none of it are mistakes.
No.
It's all building blocks for life.
I call mistakes learnings, honestly.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, incredible.
Yeah.
So what would you say your passion is then in a nutshell?
Right. My passion, I would say, is transforming people.
Amazing.
I like to see it when it's like you know how happy it is when a farmer sees their crop. You know, it's like, you know, we put in that effort and we don't know what's going to happen. Something's happening underneath there, but all I did was plant a seed. And I feel that the same way when people's consciousness shifts, when their mindsets shift, it's like, okay, now you get it. You know, I believe people have gifts,
Yes.
and I believe my gift is to see the potential of people, even if they don't see it in themselves.
You show it to them, right?
Yeah, and it's like, here, I'm here to just remind you who you really are.
Yeah.
But it's still up to you whether you want to do it or not.
Yeah. Well, you always plant the seed, and
Yeah,
then
that's it.
they've got to go and do the watering
That's it.
and then putting the sunshine on it, right?
And when they do,
That's
I'm
when the
happy.
result.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Incredible. So
Yeah.
your passion is then transformation.
Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
And tell me, what about your purpose?
My purpose. Whew.
This is a big word, and a lot of people get stuck with this. They're like, I don't know what my purpose is, and who I am, and what I'm doing.
Right. I would say my purpose is to remind people to contribute to the greater society.
Wow.
I'm almost, my middle name is Mufundisi, right, which means pastor or reverend, and I was named that after my grandfather, who was a Methodist pastor. So it's almost as if my destiny was already aligned, or my purpose was already named to me.
Pass on that message. From
So, am I a pastor? No, but in a way I am, because I'm speaking a message.
You're delivering a message.
Delivering, like my grandfather did.
Yeah.
So there is that connection. So I think that's what I would say my purpose is.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So your purpose is to deliver the message that you feel that the world needs.
Yes, that's it. And in order to do that, you have to be authentic. You can't.
Yeah, it doesn't come from other people through you. It's from you.
Yeah.
And how did you find that?
Whoa.
All these deep questions.
About 10,000 hours of meditation, and to be honest, it's various avenues. I do meditate. I've been to India twice for periods of a month. And that's where I go to find my space, and I really think it's important because we live in a world externally all the time with all these external stimuli, and we never internalize and really find out who we really are. So I think it's important on a regular basis to just kind of get all the junk and noise. It's a noisy world. There's so many distractions, and clear that space. Then it's almost like the channel is clear.
And that's when inspiration flows and purpose, passion, answers, all of that.
That's it.
Oh, incredible.
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I really want to go to India and sit on a mountain and meditate. I meditate every day as well, but it's, I think it's probably feels a bit more profound
when you're there. Ooh, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So you know your passion and your purpose, and you've shared your journeys, how you got there. So what would you say to some other people who are maybe watching this show, who are thinking, I don't know what my passion and purpose is, and what's one tip perhaps that they can do to help find theirs?
Okay. Be curious. That would be my number one advice right now. And the reason I'm saying that is that so many things that are so prominent in my life now only got there because I was curious about something. So I'll give you an example. I was in my third year of university. I was walking down the college campus, and I heard this noise, people singing and dancing, and I was like, I'm curious, what is this thing? So I go there and I peer in and I see these people playing capoeira, and I'm like, what the heck is this thing? I get the information, start attending classes, and boom, I'm hooked. I've always been one who's been into martial arts, but there was something about capoeira which drew me in.
It's like a spiritual martial art.
Yeah, it really is. It goes deep, and it's got so many layers to it. And fast forward 10, 15 years later, and I'm teaching capoeira at Hadcliffe community to ballet dancers
transferring
here.
That message.
Yeah, exactly. But if I hadn't have done that, then that message wouldn't be here right now. So think of the lives that are being impacted by capoeira.
Absolutely.
But if I didn't feed that curiosity, then I wouldn't have
been able to bring that.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah. So be curious. Yeah, it sparks possibility. Yeah, you never
I
know
like
where it's
that.
going to take you. Yeah.
Yeah, good thing for a blog post.
Yeah. I already did it 3 weeks ago.
Damn.
But you can do my part too.
Okay, cool. I will.
Yeah, you should actually. Yeah.
While you're on tour. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then just lastly, I would like to just finish on happiness.
Mhm.
So you seem like a really happy guy.
Yes.
And for me, like I was saying to you earlier, I tend to be proactive about happiness in my life.
Right.
So how is it that you are able to create happiness in your life?
First of all, I think I do it by defining happiness for myself.
Good.
And I define it as a state of being, all right? So it's not a thing, it's not something I can touch or hold, or it's not a feeling, you know, because feelings change, you know, but it's a state of being, right? So I think of it as, if you picture a sea, right? If there's a storm at the top of the ocean, the surface of the ocean, the waves are choppy and it's crazy and boats are flying and everything, but you go below and it's calm all the time. That's the state. There's certain animals that just stay there and are just like, but everything at the top can change. You know? So I'll define happiness
depending
as that.
on the environment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They can affect people are affected by things like weather. You know, it's gloomy today, so I'm going to be gloomy. It's like, but happiness is that state, that constant state. That's kind of like your foundation, I guess. You know, it's a pillar, you know, in your characteristic, in your life. Yeah. And so regardless of this, there's always that. I can be sad, I could cry, I could be angry, but my state is constant, you know. Yeah.
That's a really nice point, and I think it's really nice how it's to stop outsourcing happiness.
Yeah.
And
that's nice. That's a blog for me.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, rather than look within.
Yeah. Stop outsourcing. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess did you come to be in that, have it as this happy state through things like mindfulness, meditation?
Yeah,
stillness?
definitely. Yeah. So meditation, through capoeira, through being a father, being a husband. I mean, it's so many things. It's my children. It's the books I read. You know, it's just I realized that I've reached. In order to maintain this state, I constantly have to be stimulated by positive things.
Yes.
With higher vibrations, you know. So there's certain. It's like watching the Kardashians on TV. It doesn't stimulate you. Like there's nothing.
Well, maybe it does, but in the wrong way.
But in the wrong way.
Yeah, you need like a high vibration.
Yeah, and let me not make fun of the Kardashians. It's TV in general, right? It's
I call it an income reduction box.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you know, you're not being stimulated. It doesn't challenge you, you know. But if you take something like, okay, I'm learning something. Now all of a sudden I'm learning this class and it's challenging me, or a book you're reading,
growing.
and that's kind of expanding your awareness, your consciousness, your thinking, you know, your whole being. I think, you know, it's just expanding, you know, and you're literally growing your brain. I mean,
and that's incredible that we can do that.
Yeah, you can
but
literally
most people
do
don't.
that. No.
Okay, so key point: grow your brain through stop watching TV, reading, taking classes, doing things that stimulate.
It's almost like you are what you know that phrase, you are what you eat.
Yeah.
But you are what you see, you are what you touch, you are what you smell, you are what you
think,
you are what you So what are you watching? Watch TV, but you know, there's
Yeah.
things that
Is it
you
adding
can
value
actually
to your
stimulate
life?
you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Mutsa, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. So interesting, and I can't wait to get to know you even more and to work together in the future and create more amazing stuff.
Thank you very much.
But do you want to share anything about what you have coming up, or?
Yeah. Apart from working with you in the future,
Yes.
I will be traveling to Europe.
End of
End of June, beginning of July. I have a European store set up in Germany and Belgium.
Amazing.
The details are on social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your social media page is Mutsa Samuel.
Yes, Mutsa Samuel.
Yeah.
So at Mutsa Samuel, Facebook/Mutsa Samuel, all those. I'm on Blogspot as well. Check out my blog there. It's called Your Soul, Reconnecting with Your Authentic Self.
Oh, amazing.
Got some cool blogs that are out once a week.
Yes, definitely read Mutsas blogs.
Yeah.
They're very profound and thought-provoking. And
They challenge you, though.
yes.
And they shatter the ego, which is the intention, which is another thing I forgot to say.
Okay.
Gotta let the ego go.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm all about this as well.
Just gotta,
It's rather than leading from a heart space rather than a
yeah,
head space.
yeah, exactly.
Which is what 99% of us do.
That's it. That's it. And the ego has a part to play in our lives, but it just needs to know its place.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the dominant characteristic.
Yeah.
It should be in the back seat.
Yeah.
Come out when it needs to. But
Yeah.
not,
To protect us.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, I'm definitely going to go and read some more about your blog.
Awesome.
But yes, guys, be sure to connect with Mutsa on his Facebook or check out his blogs and follow him on his European tour and watch the space for what's to come with us in the future. But Mutsa, thank you again. Thank you for inspiring us and helping other people find their passion, purpose, and happiness.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure. So thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.